Step into the paranormal with Ernie Atwell and David Seiler, brought to you by Paranormal Inc., right here on WLFE DB Radio.
What's up, everybody?
How's everybody doing this fine, hot Sunday?
Welcome to episode 43. And I got the number right this time. 4-3.
You know how he got it right? Because he asked me what episode it was.
No, I already had it set up. I was just seeing if he was paying attention. Well, hello. We are going to have a very fun evening this evening. First of all, we do not have a special guest this evening, but we do have to tell you about some of the investigations we have. But first and foremost, we do have a special guest, even though we don't have a special guest. Our special guest, he's very special. This is actually one of the best people around, John McGinnis.
What's happening, John?
This is our cameraman. He actually is so good, he's actually able to make me look good.
Damn, you're good, John.
You damn good.
I can work miracles.
Well, welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for all you do for us.
And just to give John credit where credit is due, if anyone has seen Tony DeVille's commercial for DeVille Inc., that's your cameraman right there.
So speaking of Tony DeVille Inc., let's start with that. So,
what a night that was.
Yeah, so about 2 weeks and 2 days ago, no, 2 weeks and 1 day ago, we went to this wonderful place, Tony DeVille's Inc. studio. He's up in Baltimore, Maryland, right near the Natty Bow.
Right on he's basically on the city-county line.
Yep,
almost.
Right there.
Yeah.
Near the Travel Plaza, right down the street.
Yeah.
So if you guys know the area, he does, first of all, excellent tattoo work, but it is the most haunted tattoo place I've ever been to.
Honestly, that's one of the most haunted places I've ever been to. Prior to even going there, I spoke with Pam and Steve and Flip, and they were telling me about it. And this was years ago. And then we investigated it last year for the first time. And then, of course, we had the first public event there 2 weeks ago. And let me tell you what, that place is nonstop.
Oh, no. It's all right. So
Nonstop.
most of you guys know how to get to our YouTube site. So, and if you don't, hit paranormalinc.net. Right at the top, you'll see our YouTube site. We have this man, John, took an hour and 40 or 53 minute video. The whole video is there, but I'm going to show you a clip in just a few moments that'll just blow your popcorn. So have your phones ready, turn it sideways, zoom in, and watch this for a minute.
Are you her brother? Are you her cousin?
The pencil just moved.
I know it did. It's not in the same place it was when I looked over.
Like it moved easily a half inch.
Yep, to the right.
It was here.
Yep.
Yeah, it was.
Good job. Do it a little bit more. Put it a lot more.
Push it hard. Use all your energy.
Let's do it with a good finale. Just push it.
Use the energy out of all those devices. Build it up. Grab as much energy out of those devices you want, and then just push that tip once hard. Make it spin. Make it fly off if you can.
And thank you for not attaching yourself to me this night. This is the first time.
Oh, there it goes.
That's awesome.
So that
that was one of a few times.
Yeah. So the entire video has so much evidence in it. It'll just blow your mind. But yeah, get into that and look at it. John did an excellent job on this video, and we're gonna say hello to a couple people that wandered in. Hi, Michelle, and hello, Carmen. So, what is the most wildest thing you saw, John?
It had to have been the pencils moving on their own. It's probably the first time I've ever seen an actual inanimate object move on its own without any help from anybody else. That was wild.
Awesome. How about for you?
From DeVille?
From DeVille.
man, I can't even. I don't even know. I tell you, we did. I mean, of course, this was a personal experience, but the one lady, her and her boyfriend were there.
Okay.
Friends of my buddy Jay, and we did some isolation session. I took her in the back room, and while we were back there, we were recording, and we don't know where this light source came from, but this light source just bounced off the wall. And if you see the back room of Tony's, you could see there's no way it could come in. So, okay. But I would say the pencil, and the reason I say that, for anyone that's ever tried that experiment, if you haven't tried at home, and what I'm saying, try, I'm not saying sit home and invite spirits in your house, but first of all, it's hard enough to get the pencils to balance as they are. But if you try to manipulate it or blow on it or do anything, all the pencil's going to do is roll off.
Right.
You know, it's very hard to make that pencil move naturally.
Yep.
Without completely knocking it off,
right.
because it's so delicate when you line them pencils up. Remember when we did it up at the Lookout House? Everybody was laughing because it was taking forever to get so long to balance those pencils. You know, and that's the night we had the experience with Jeff Leeper.
Yep, absolutely.
So, but I guess I would have to call the pencils. Like I said, it did that several times throughout the night. You know, basically upon request, because for a while we had them sitting there and they really didn't do anything until we started asking them to. So,
well, mine was when you and my actual boss Tony, who came to the investigation.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
You guys went to the back and you set up a code word.
Well, Dave's boss come in, and I didn't know who he was. I was up where like Tony DeVille tattoos, and I seen this gentleman walk in. He was kind of like standoffish, and I'm like, I thought maybe he wandered in off the street to make an appointment. So we get to talking, and we did a few things, and then I got to speaking with him, and he was telling me, he's like, man, I can't believe this. He goes, I've heard about what you guys do, you know, at these events, whatever. He goes, my mind is blown. So he pulls me aside and he says, hey, look, is there some way you can involve me in this? Like ask it to say my name or something. So, you know, I did the old, you know, write down a password. Don't tell no one. I went in the back of Tony's studio and, you know, I basically said, hey, Tony H gave me a password. This is it. Anytime throughout tonight, if you could repeat the password for me. And of course, we had great results with it.
Yep. It actually, when they came out, and I didn't know what the password was.
No one did except me and Tony H.
So he put it on a piece of paper and put it down and said, okay, here we did. And we had a spirit box running. It's called a Phasma box. And it came out with something, but I didn't catch it. Well, a few minutes later, it came out again, and I thought I caught it. And I pulled him aside later on, and I said, is the password this? And he's like, yep.
And the thing is, a lot of people knew it was the password just because the expression on Dave's boss, Tony, on his face.
Yep.
His eyes, they popped like a Disney character.
If you watch the video, it's on there, and trust me, you're going to catch the word Viper. It's plain as day. Watch when they start asking, is the password, and listen to it. They said it twice, and it was really cool.
But the funny thing was, when I kind of like, I didn't want to give it away because I knew it said it. So I kind of like took a gander over at Tony, and his eyes were like,
you can see he went off.
Because if I'm not mistaken, the gentleman that was to my left said, is that it? Or something. Because it's just his expression gave it away.
So that was pretty cool. So, all right. So let's move on to last night. Last night was really cool. We have a lot of people in the show that were, listening and watching. They were there last night up at Fort Mifflin.
I was there last year. I was asked to stop by at an event, and it was active. But last night, I think it was just the energy too that helped, because everyone was so excited and everyone was having such a good time. I think that joyfulness and just brought everything to life.
Nice.
Well, wasn't that the first public event at Mifflin since the pandemic?
I'm not sure. Greg's actually in the chat.
I'm not sure.
Greg, is that the first public event since the pandemic? It takes about 30 seconds for them to respond. And I sent Ernie a video of my casemate number 2. So
I know there's been like investigations there, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the schedule.
I don't know if there's been a big because there was a lot of people there last night.
Oh yeah,
I mean it was awesome.
There was like 50 or so people.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
All right, Brian was there earlier in May.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
Thank
I
you,
remember
Barry.
that. I remember that.
So very good. So I've posted the link up down below. You'll see it running across down below this way. If you guys want to come in and discuss anything, we will bring you into the stream. Just put it into your browser window. It'll bring you up and it'll bring you into my little studio, and I'll see. It was a sold out night last night. Very nice.
Yeah. What got you last night, John? What was your favorite?
I think the first was a Casemate 5. Yeah, because we got a lot of interaction in that area.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the Phasma box rolling in there. We had a flashlight rolling in there. EI and K2.
Well, I can tell you, we've done several events where we've had a lot of shadow play, but a lot of last night's evidence consisted of shadows.
Yes.
Like people were seeing them.
Mm-hmm.
Like multiple people were seeing the same exact thing at the same exact time. And it's just like no matter where we went at the fort last night, shadows were there. It was amazing. I don't even know where to start with that.
Well, John and I and a couple other people.
That was before I came in.
Before
remember?
you came in. Play sounds. But John and I actually went into Casemate 5 to begin with. But afterward, we went. I don't know what Casemate number of it. Maybe Greg O'Brien can answer it if he's still in the chat. But there's a big mound and it has a tunnel in it. And it looks like when you go in there, there's a square, almost like a grating in the floor, like you would torture somebody in there with a water torch and put a grate over them.
Yeah.
It's really creepy. And that's the only thing in this room.
Yeah.
Well, as we're standing there.
It's in the center.
Correct. So we're around the edges. I have a couple things out. I put a Phasma box up. I put a REM pod up. And I think a K2, whatever I was using. Torpedo room. Thank you, Carmen. So what it was, oh, wow. I just realized she said torpedo room because do you remember on the Phasma box, we heard that ping like a torpedo?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I just realized that we got to get that video out. So that was pretty good. But what happened was we were all standing still and I heard footsteps next to me. Directly to my right, and there was nobody there. John was in front of me, and the girls were to my left. And I kept hearing footsteps. So I'm looking at people's feet to see if maybe they're just like moving.
He has a foot fetish.
I have a foot fetish, whatever. But you could still hear the feet walking.
Right.
And I'm like, John, are you getting this? And the girls kept talking. I'm like, wait a minute, stop talking.
Look what John last night, and John even tried to debunk this. You know where I had our merchandise set up. Right. And then next to me was the lady, the author. She had her books out.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just sitting there. I was returning an email or something. And I was well aware that the air condition was up in the ceiling behind, against that back wall. But it was a steady blow. Well, while we were sitting there, Jersey Paranormal was to my right. And we were laughing and joking about, when we turn, when I turn my back, they're going to throw my merchandise on the floor. And I said, I'm going to go over and steal theirs. And we were goofing off. So I'm sitting there and I'm on my returning an email. And this is what I felt on the back of my neck. Very rapid. I felt this. So I automatically thought it was one of the Jersey people like messing with me. Because I went like this.
Not like somebody tapped you in the middle of the field.
John said, what's the matter? And I'm like, and I explained it. And he goes, well, the air's right there. I said, yeah, well, the air, we both agreed. I said, I can feel that. It's a constant. But this was like, and he even sat there where I was. And the air condition don't do that. But it was very distinct. And that was right from the beginning, man. I mean,
that was right before we kicked off anything.
We didn't even walk outside yet.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Really? Well, what about the commandant's quarters?
Well, that you said they called for me because I was in.
All right.
because I was still in there with the merchandise, and I had just stepped outside when you called.
So here's the thing: we got in there, and New Jersey Paranormal was in there, and a couple other people, and they were kind of spread out, and people were standing out watching. But I kind of just parked my butt in the middle of the floor. Why? Because I love New Jersey Paranormal. I love them anyway. But so I parked down, and I threw a K2 up. I threw a REM pod and my Mel, and then I'm like, "Do you mind if I light up the plasma box?" And they were like, "All right, yeah." Lisa says, "Yes, they did," and I heard it. And the ghosts have the hot for you, Ernie. So lit up the phasma, and we were getting intelligent responses. As we were doing that, we got a "Where's Ernie?" I love you, Michelle. So we got a "Where's Ernie?" So I sent one of the girls to go out and find Ernie, and Ernie came in the center, and that's when things really started kicking off.
It went bananas, man. It was like shadow. It was like they were all around. And at one point, we heard in the far corner like a rustling around. Like the whole group kind of looked. I illuminated the area. There, of course, was nothing there. But as I started to pan to the right and turn my light off, it looked to me like a head come around the wall and looked at us and ducked back around.
Oh, yeah.
At that point is when I said, "Are you hiding from us or whatever?" Over the phasma box, the response was, "It's the kids or it's the children."
That's actually what Lisa just said. Don't forget the creepy
laugh.
I
can't remember. I don't remember if it said kids or children. But I was standing. I was standing in the center. One of the whatever meter went off near the railing. So I stepped over to where it was. Now, there was a railing dividing me and the other side, which was a drop down.
And that was their REM pod that actually went off. And it went off as a full hit, not just a
I
thermal.
actually saw a shadow about up to my shoulder. It was on the other side of the railing, but it was so close to me that it was instinct to step back because it, like, so somebody don't bump into you.
Yep.
That I stepped back. I didn't say nothing, but then someone behind or two guys behind me go, "Oh my God, did you see that shadow run by you?" And that's exactly what I saw, and it was amazing, man.
Oh, it is. It's a blast.
But I'm hoping when John goes through everything that he caught that, because it's just not as, me sitting here telling you a personal experience. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You want to see it on. But it was plain as day, man. And it wasn't quick. It took its time. Like it was strolling right on by me. So,
well, there's a whole bunch of things in there. I mean, we were getting, but at one point we were on the left and New Jersey was on the right. And were you still there when it sounded like a rock thrown? And no, John was there. I know it looked like
loud.
And it was, loud. It literally sounded like something bang. Mm-hmm. Everybody else was going this way, but John and I were looking this way. We heard it from two different directions at the same time.
Yep.
It was bizarre. And then we heard in the rafters, it sounded like things were crawling around.
Right.
That was. But
we got a lot of direct responses when in the, what is it called? Where I saw the shadow.
That's the commandant's quarters.
Yeah. But we got a lot of direct responses, and not only us, but other people that were participating in the experiments.
We would like to welcome our guest, Greg from Fort Mifflin. How you doing, brother? Welcome.
All right.
Hi.
Can you hear us?
I'm getting like a double. Let's see. Let's get rid of that. Oh, yeah. All right. There we go.
There you go. Good. There you go. Welcome.
Well, okay. Glad to be back.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. So you were just discussing some of the stuff we ran into last night. Did you guys get any reports of anything?
It was just last night, I think, was the most active it's been this whole year. And 2 weeks ago, we've been busy with paranormal and scouts this whole year. And, last weekend, it was the Eastern Front reenactment. So it was a World War II reenactment on the Eastern Front. So that was the whole weekend. And then this Friday night and all day Saturday was scouts. And then the Girl Scouts came in too. So between the reenactment the week before and all those scouts running around, I think that's one of the reasons why it was so active. And everybody was picking up all those little kids EVPs. I mean, the kids were just incredible last night. I mean, that's they're there, but I mean, everywhere, everybody they were all over the fort.
Oh yeah, I mean, the commandant's quarters. We had a ton of. It sounded like kids, and we saw shadow people that looked like kids. We couldn't keep up with them, and they were laughing and giggling. They were playing with the cat balls and things like that.
The majority of the shadows that we were seeing or capturing was child size. The one that ran by me by the railing only came up to my shoulder, and I'm not that tall, so it was about a foot shorter than me. You know what I mean?
Yep. Now we just had another guest join us. This is Mr. Anthony Hatzageorgilis.
We'll just call you Tony.
What's up, Tony?
Tony's fine. Tony's fine, gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
Thank
you for having me. How's everybody tonight?
Good. How you doing, Tony?
So we started
good.
by going over the Tony DeVille Inc. that we went to, and then we actually moved on to Fort Mifflin. But Tony was president. He's the one who actually made the code word Viper that we've already discussed. What was your favorite part of that night, Tony?
It's tough. It's tough because we got so spoiled, from very early on in the night. There was so much activity. It made it seem so normal. Like, for me, not having done this in many years, and, I grew up in Greece, and spirituality and in general, it's thought of very differently there. So it's also explored very differently and openly. So it wasn't something very mean or foreign to me, but from the moment we sat down, there were so many minutes that made a difference, from the moving objects to Dave had these guys in their pocket. Like it was nuts. We were joking about it because Dave was literally having a reactive, consistent conversation with them for what felt like, I don't know, 30 minutes, like them hitting the lights. And meanwhile, the lights are like $5 lights that we set on a ledge. Like I watched all this stuff be put in front of me. If I had walked into this room, sure, I'd have a million cynical thoughts, but being someone who's so intimately close to one of the two partners and new friends with the other, you don't think any cynical thoughts. It's just nice to see them at work, so to speak, and to see it respected. But honestly, the part that stuck out was not the Viper, them knowing our password, them listening to both of you, the interactivity, amazing, all of it. But one of the crazy parts that threw me off was the phone booth.
No, we did not discuss that in the opening. What did you see in the phone?
So in the last time around, the phone booth was very active and threw them off. Like it was a big aggressive thing that, they made very active. And so this time everybody was kind of shitting their pants about the phone booth, and they were like, we're not going to mention the phone booth. We're not going to get them started. And lo and behold, they said something about making something, it was when Dave stepped out and you were saying, oh, let's do something. We don't really believe you're here. Show your presence. And keep in mind, this was after they had been directly spoken to by Dave in a manner like they were children, right? So they were being like babied in such a way that they were doing everything he asked. And as soon as you come in, guns blazing, you're like, I don't believe you're here. They made like, I'm sitting on the floor 2 feet from the phone booth. It was what felt like an instant lightning crack in the phone. It was like, it rattles, you hear something hard shaking the top. I'm like, come on, man, I didn't even ask for that.
Well, how about the yes/no box? I have this device called a yes/no box. You don't have to touch it. It just uses energy, and that no light kept going off.
Yeah, and we're testing it. It's going off just by putting your hand over it. And again, the whole night it was a joke. They were the most basic questions were being asked so much on command that you found yourself being numb to it. Like 30, 40 minutes, you were like, all right, well, I guess we're just having a discussion with a bunch of ghosts. No big deal here. This is normal.
Tony, when you first came to the event, I mean, what were you expecting, and what was your overall final take once the event was over? You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, listen, my degree's in physics and applied physics, and I'm a traveled individual that's seen a few things I'd like to think in my day. I was expecting a bunch of white noise. You know, I was expecting some reactivity. I was expecting nothing so graspingly obvious. To see Dave struggle for 10 seconds, I'm going to say, no bullshit, I'm going to say real. To struggle for 3 or 4 seconds to balance a pencil on a piece of paper.
We had that conversation just a little while ago.
Bro, basic shit. We're talking about a pencil on top of another pencil. Go ahead. I challenge you on your own time to grab 2 number 2 pencils and go ahead and balance them cleverly at 90 degrees. So this thing's slipping left and right. The physics just doesn't work in its favor. And to sit looking at Dave and looking at everybody face to face and watch it slowly spin in a circle, it was so calculated. It was so friggin' obvious that it was not natural, that it didn't scare you. It like made you giddy. You were like, what? Does everybody see this? It was a fun night. It was more of a party than it was anything exploring the supernatural. I felt like the people were there responding to us, were part of it with us. You know, it was neat.
That's a big part. And Greg, you'll agree. John, you've been with us filming for how long now? You'll agree, you know, you go to some events and, you know, you'll have your host team and it'll be, you know, are you sad that you're dead? Did you die here? What's your name? You know, but when you go in and it's just you include the spirit into the celebration, into the party, and you bring that energy and that excitement and that fun attitude, I think it brings everything to life. Because
you're right, brother. You're right. Nobody wants to walk into that basic Ouija board bullshit. Nobody walk. We're grown ass men. It's 2021. The government's confirming aliens. Obviously, there's a bunch of shit we don't know, right? So if we're gonna be open minded, let's not do this little everything. See, here's the bad picture, and you guys know this better than me. But those people that make it a seance, they've turned anything spiritual and paranormal into demonic.
Yeah.
In their head, right? Oh, did you see any demons? No, man. It's not. It wasn't even anything like that. We didn't pray to anything. We turned off the lights and shit started happening. You know.
Now we have a question asking about the pencils. They're the standard number 2 pencils that have 6 sides, so they're flat on one side. But to balance them on top of each other,
like a cross.
Yep, like a cross. And if you watch the video, that's how we do it.
Tony, let me ask you, when I took you aside and asked you for the secret word and we did that whole thing, and what's your overall thought? And then what were you thinking when you heard the response?
That's a good question, because we put so much, it was very quick, right? We were kind of, it was my first time. So we really got a point of like, they wanted to make it fun for me too. But we were also so excited all this was happening, we were experimenting with whatever we wanted to do. So when you came to me and you said 2 syllables, I kept thinking to myself, what if I say some bullshit that's not distinguishable and you hear it in a whisper and it sounds like white noise? And that's why I said, you know what? Viper. It will be indistinguishable. And it was split second. I don't use the word viper in anything that I do. It's nothing that has to do with my life. The closest to Viper I know is, I think that was what Stallone called himself in that terrible movie from the early 90s. Something like that.
Hey, you got Tony. Lauren says, we freaking love Tony. He's epic.
But it was great. It was great, man. It was really neat because you made it so easy for me, both of you, because not having experience with that, it was like cheat sheets. I came into it and you were like, all right, well, check this out. Pay attention to this. Look at these things. And it was nice. But when they said the word Viper, if you play back on the tape, the first time it was jumbled. The second time, the female voice comes out and says it directly, a whisper. Everything was dead silent. It was like she took it aside and goes, Viper. I shit my pants in that moment.
I saw your eyes go about this big, brother. I was like, I told
Dave, I said, I knew it just repeated the word because I didn't want to be obvious.
Doing the.
No, I glanced over at Tony and his eyes looked like a Disney character.
Well, listen. Here's why. You want to let's do this. Every time Dave knows this. Dave and I are lucky enough to work during the day. He's a pivotal part of. One of the reasons that our company is so forceful is Dave Seiler. I'm sure he doesn't tell you guys at night, but he's a lead engineer at a really great tech company in Baltimore, and he's super respected by these higher ups at the state. So Dave and I always have to be in a different scenario. We never get to be us and this. And going back 20 years, we have so many different facets of our friendship. We got to wear these hats, right? So when I got to see Dave in his element, and he was so relaxed and he was so effortless, and I see his partner, everybody's so knowledgeable, it really is easy to take for granted what's happening. Other cynical people, the same way we beat the shit out of ideas at work, Dave, I come here to beat the shit out of the Paranormal Inc. idea and to say, oh yeah, it's all fake. So I walk in the room, I'm seeing the most trivial little things and then technical things, looking into sound waves, frequency, vibrational waves. I looked at things that mimic the things that I knew in my past. So in this little floor, we had a lot of technology and a lot of basic. But it was that word. It was you guys telling me say something indistinguishable and then making it so unique. That's what I loved about it. The first one was 3 voices together in a different tone. The second wasn't like we copy and pasted some bullshit or recorded and replayed something. This was a woman's voice whispering Viper to a room of people that lost their shit. So you can't make that stuff up. You know? You can't make that stuff up.
Very good. Oh. All right, Tony. Well, we're going to go back to our other investigation from last night. I just want to say thank you for joining us. One love, brother. And
thank you guys.
Tony, come see us again, man.
He's coming to 1 in 2 weeks.
Oh, Sam Miller.
I'm coming up to Sam Miller. I'm bringing a good friend of mine who's super interested. I can't wait to see more with you guys, man. You're killing it. Keep it up.
I got a new toy that you haven't seen yet. They're called cat balls.
That terrifies me, but I'm in. I love you guys. Thank you for letting me be a part of this. Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah, we'll talk to you.
See you, Tony.
So he is the owner of my company that I actually work for, and he is an amazing, amazing man. I've known him 20 plus years. I knew him from karate.
I got to give a quick shout out to Tony DeVille because he made me. Tony H reminded me of something. When we got to the event and started setting up and everything, as the guests were arriving, Tony came out with trays of cheeses and crackers and fruit
He
and
fed us
desserts and all the cold drinks, and it was such a unexpected.
He fed us.
Plus,
I mean, and he fed us.
Yep.
Not just he snacked us. He fed us.
Yeah, it was good.
But yeah.
Greg, I tell you, we got a lot of. I mean, our phones have been nonstop
Blowing
since
up.
last night,
Yep.
and just the positive feedback and the evidence and the experiences that people had last night, man. I don't know how you're there every day and not go crazy, because I would be losing my mind trying to capture as much as I can.
I interplay with them, it's just, they know me, and they basically know everybody that's there, the regulars that are there. They know our names, and they like to play games, and I've experienced everything you can think of, full body, shadows, stuff go through me. I want to just have an sit down and face-to-face intelligent conversation. That's my goal right now there, just to sit down one night and have a face-to-face conversation. So that's what I've been working on.
I had a group of about 5 people in the, man, I can always get the names mixed up. The powder
mag.
Yes. So, man, we had some really good activity. We actually saw like I don't want to say a shadow, but I want to say a silhouette literally start to manifest. Now, after a while, everything kind of went quiet, and actually the room brightened up.
Right.
And one of the ladies said, I think it's gone. So I said, if you're still here, could you let us know? This voice come over the Phasma box. Now, keep in mind, when the voice comes out of the Phasma box, it's still going to echo because we're in a place that echoes. But this voice came out with no echo after I asked if it was there. And the man's voice goes, I'm here. No echo, no nothing, clear as day. It was so distinct and clear that everybody jumped. Like, it was so amazing.
Greg, I have a question. So we were in the center in my brain just stopped. I knew it a second ago.
Commandant.
Commandant. I want to say quartermaster in the commandant's quarters. Were there people there that spoke German?
Well, you had the Hessians across the river in Fort Mercer during the siege. So their Hessians did come after the fall of the fort. There was German, and so and you know, Philadelphia, that whole, you know, Pennsylvania, really all with the German.
Right. The reason why is I kept getting stuff on the Phasma in German, and I speak a little bit of German. I'm not too bad at it, but I tried answering, and all of a sudden I got a flow that I could not keep up with.
Well, you know, you got Germantown right outside Philadelphia, so it was just all settled. You know, you had the Germans and all. We get a lot of French captured because the French, the French are when the fort was being rebuilt, it was by the French under Adams.
I got to remember that for next time.
Yeah, we had one time had a whole ghost box section with French. Luckily, just one woman spoke French, and the whole conversation was going back and forth in French. It was pretty wild.
Oh, nice!
Wow, that's real cool.
That is.
It was awesome.
Especially because this is the tech man, but the phonetic generators that we used, to my knowledge, there's no French.
Yeah, there's no French. No, they're all English. They're all English based. So if they're coming through the Phasma box in French, that's being phonetically generated. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So. Well,
but yeah, I mean, everywhere, every inch of the fort last night it was wild.
So I tell you what, the weather was so nice because it was so hot driving up there, and once that sun started to set, it was beautiful.
Now the funny part is, your young lady in gift shop was in period clothing. I love it. So I got a couple pictures of that, and I sent it to a few people to freak them out. I took a picture of without her, and then one with her. And I'm like, oh my God, you've got to see this. Now, I never said anything about paranormal.
What were we saying, Greg?
Yep.
It was funny.
I'm not going to put no names out there, but she's watching, and I will message you later and let you know who you are. But I told Greg, I said, man, let's play a joke on somebody. Let's take the lady in period clothing and put her way atop the hill, and make sure this person's out in the field, and just have her like
she's actually laughing.
Have her stroll back and forth. Be like, what the hell are you talking about? There ain't nobody up there.
Oh, I'm gonna say you, Carmen, I love you. We were gonna have some fun with you, dear. We were gonna have oh my God. Yeah. Have some fun with it.
And then Greg said, well, have her pop out of the room or something on the second floor.
Yeah, the officer's quarter, pop out of the door, look out, and close it.
Oh my God. That's like those old carnival events they would have, and you would go in to get a portrait, and while they're setting you up, just as they go to snap, someone comes from behind the curtain, gets in the picture, and then backs out. So when you look at it, it looks like a ghost behind you. And that was really, like, back in the day, that was really popular, and people were really believing it, but it was all an illusion.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
We were going to have so much fun. But yeah, I mean, Fort Mifflin, this is my second trip there.
Me too.
And it never disappoints. The place where I guess it's the torpedo room, Greg. Has anybody ever described footsteps in there with them by themselves?
Yeah, you got footsteps all over the place. So yes.
All right, because it was me, John, and my two girls that were in there, and I kept hearing footsteps, and it was to my right where nobody was, and I was in the back part of it. John was in the front part facing me, and my two girls were to the left, and it sounded like to my right somebody walking, and I'm looking up, down, left, right. I'm looking at people's feet. I couldn't see anything, and it was bizarre.
Yep, it's common throughout the fort. Casemates and anywhere, commandants, you'll hear walking, barracks, a lot of walking, a lot of footsteps.
Very nice. Now, the place in the back, I know where that cannon hangs. What was that used for originally?
That was the artillery shed. They would store the extra cannons that they could roll out, and there'd be some wagons back there and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But that's we store all the the old windows, doors, anything that's historical gets stored back there. So you get a lot of residual, a lot of good energy back there.
Absolutely, because I was watching while I was coming out of the commandant's house, and I could see what looked like a person moving. I thought there was a person over there, but then it like just phased out and phased in, and then phased out and it was gone.
Yeah, it's common back there. Usually at the corner towards the blacksmith shop, there's a lot of activity back in that area.
Nice. Very
What
nice.
was the deal with the children? Like, we were getting a lot of evidence, like you were saying earlier, leaning toward children. I mean, what does
especially at the
is that
commandant's
common? I mean, was there a lot of children?
Yeah, that's common. Since it was a military base, you had families, you had children there. And like I said, we had, when it was being rebuilt, it was born during the yellow fever epidemic of Philadelphia. So every boat was stopped coming into Philadelphia, got boarded. Anybody that was sick was brought off. So you had that. You had the commandant's kids are documented running around in there. And, there was drownings. There's a lot of articles go back in the 1800s. I found, 8-year-old, 10-year-old children's bodies that, washed down to the fort. They'd be out swimming or in the Delaware back then and get caught in the current and wash up down to the fort. And since that was the hospital building, that was the only, that was just all barren down there. And so you had the military fort. That was the only hospital in the miles around. So, they bring in all the sick and everything to the hospital. So, that's what, we had the women and children, and, you didn't have to be in the military to die there. And plus, right there on the Delaware River, with the water, get a lot of things passing through.
I got to tell you a funny story about John last night. From the moment we stepped foot on property, every 20 seconds, here comes an airplane. Mm-hmm. I mean, they come in low, man.
They
low.
Look like you're going to land right on you.
You can literally, somebody in the window can hold a peace sign up and you can count their fingers. So at the very beginning when we were all speaking, Greg, how many times we had to be, okay, plane flies. Now this was continuous. So I'm walking out in the field with John, and John goes, man, I'm gonna film the plane coming in. So John's all ready. No more planes.
No planes.
Murphy's Law.
I don't know why I found that so funny, man. But all night we just kept getting interrupted by planes.
Oh, I know. In the opening, there must have been 8-10 planes that came over
out there in the middle of the field. John's ready. Just nothing.
Well, that's what I always tell people. People always say, "You're so close to your airport, you can't get good evidence." And I'd say, by 9 o'clock, they slow down, and after midnight, it gets to, you could go hours without a plane coming in. So, and plus once you get investigating and you're in the case mates, you become oblivious to the sound.
Right.
Yeah, honestly, you do.
It becomes white noise after a while, absolutely.
But that was so funny, man.
Yeah, we live right by BWI, and I mean, planes come over me all the time. And unless, actually, I'm noticing the cicadas more than the planes at this point.
Oh yeah.
I tell you what was scary, man. During right after 9/11, they've rerouted the plane route as they come in. And all the years I've had my house, they come a certain way out back. Mm-hmm. Well, after 9/11, they rerouted them, and like Ruby and I would be sitting on the porch, and it would look like a plane just flying down my street, and we see them coming in from the city over into the county, and man, they start to descend because I only live 10 minutes from the airport, if that. So by the time they get to my house, they're low.
They're very low, yeah.
And it was crazy. It was scary.
You shake hands with the pilot on the way by. That's how close they come. So.
Oh, but what a night that was, man. Greg, I can't wait till we
absolutely
get something going and come back, man, because it's so many. It's so big. There's so many places to check out that literally, if you want to investigate thoroughly, you need more than one night.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. We get that a lot. People show up and they go, "Oh my God, I didn't realize how big this place is," because and they bring maybe 100 feet of cable for a video camera. It's like, that ain't gonna go far. You
I
know?
got 5,000 feet. If I ever need to do that, I'll make sure.
I think the coolest part, and I'm sure John, Dave, you'll agree, the coolest part of the fort, man, is when you're walking the path to go
to the
in.
Sallyport, yes.
That is just, and when you go under that first
Sallyport, yes.
Yeah, it's just
and
so
a lot of
amazing.
people didn't realize as soon as you walk through the Sallyport, there's 2 doors right there.
Yes.
And there is amazing evidence that is from there.
Yeah.
Correct.
With last time we were there, Greg, you took us right into those, and we've got voices on recording from both Sallyports.
Yep. Yeah, they were the guard stations. They were the guard, and they are very active. And
how long you been involved with the fort, Greg?
I've been going to the fort. My son, he's 29 since he was like 2 or 3. I did a lot of volunteering, and then it's been like 5 years since I've become I guess you call the official paranormal host. So, but I've been down there for paranormal for about 15, 20 years, really.
Colette, it's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Fort Mifflin's right. It's right at Delaware, PA.
Yeah, right, Delaware, PA, New Jersey, right there in that corner.
Yes, right in the southeast corner. It's right by the airport. It's right all over the border from Delaware County and Philadelphia County.
But when he says it's right by the airport, literally, if you sneeze, whatever comes out is going to hit the airport. So, I changed one of the tires on the planes on the way by. It's right next to the airport.
They came in low last night.
Oh, you ain't lying.
Yes, they did.
Especially when you get a 747 come in. Oh my God.
Oh Lord,
that must be loud.
Yeah, but I tell people it's unique. You don't have to like the paranormal. You have the history. You have the airplanes if you like airplanes, and we're right on the river. And you got the big tankers. You can watch boats go by all day long too, and you got the nature, and so you got everything.
What river's that behind there?
Delaware
River. Okay.
But yeah, even though once you go on top of where the cannons were, there's actually outside where cannons were. So I mean, this place is huge.
Yeah,
it is 40 total acres.
Oh wow,
damn.
So I mean, you guys got it. If even just to go up there, if you don't like paranormal, which I hope you do if you're watching this show, but get over there, just take a look, have some fun. Carmen's there almost every day. She comes up with some amazing photos and evidence. Check in Paranormal Inc. She posts them up there, and it's just incredible. So we welcome you all to post your evidence up there.
But we definitely have to get something going again, man. I can't wait to get back there.
And my apologies to the folks that are watching. I had to leave early last night. My daughter told me after I got there she hadn't eaten anything all day, and her blood sugar level dropped out on her, and it was like. She's like going, Dad, I need to get some food. I'm like, oh God. So it's like, okay, guys, gotta leave. Sorry. And I had a great time. I loved every bit of it. Greg, I love you. I mean, you're like aces. As soon as you looked up, I'm like, Greg.
Greg and I had a conversation last night before I left, but I've always, and you've heard me say this before, I just enjoy places where we're able to investigate outside as well as inside, because it's the same, but it's different.
Yeah.
And just the vast variety of evidence that you can capture outdoors is amazing. And over the years, some of the best evidence I've ever captured doing anything has always been outside.
Definitely.
It doesn't have to be a mansion and, a house from the 1700s. And, man, there's a lot you're going to catch outside when you're at the right location. And in my opinion, Fort Mifflin is the right location.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. I love just sitting like in front of the barracks here with the benches. I'll sit there 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and just sit there and you'll see sentries walking around up on the wall. You've heard them marching in front of you. I mean, it's just, you just take it all in, and it's just amazing what you'll see. And like you say, just being outside, they're running around from different building to building, and it's
Wow.
just it's so
Yeah,
to me it's relaxing.
that place is no BS, guys. You got to get up there if you haven't been to Fort Mifflin. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours from BWI. North, almost straight up 95.
Yeah, it's straight. It's damn near a straight shot, straight up.
Straight 95. Yep.
Yep. And then it's right off. So, and Carmen's saying, boy, she'd love to be there at night with you, Greg, in 4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, if she does the Sleep with the Ghost in October.
Yep. There you go. There you go. There's your chance, Carmen.
Carmen, you got to be our field reporter. You got to go sleep with the ghosts and let us know how it was.
Film at 11.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's getting to be about that time, Greg. So I want to say thank you for joining us. God bless. We'll get something together soon again with you. And from what I understand, it was a sold out event.
Sold out event. All our open investigations have sold out. We limited to 50, and people think, well, 50 is a lot, but like you say, it's so spread out. Once people spread out,
yeah, it looked like
you don't even see anybody around. So,
what's funny though? When you start like halfway through the investigation, I was outside by myself, and for so many people,
it was empty.
You don't hear nothing.
No,
like if you walked into the fort, you wouldn't think anyone's there.
Yeah.
That's how cool it is.
It looked empty.
Yep. Yeah. It does.
Greg, we will see you in August at the Gettysburg Bash.
Correct. I'll be at the Gettysburg Bash there in August, and then the world's largest ghost hunt's going to be at the fort this year, September 25th.
Awesome.
So anybody wants to come out for that, you're welcome. And we have another next open investigation is July 24th. So hopefully we'll have some other special guests show up for that. But if you're interested, get your tickets, sportmifflin.us, and they go fast.
Anytime, awesome. Greg, we're here 24/7, man. You ever need us, you know how to get us.
Yep.
I appreciate you guys.
Greg, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for joining us and everything you do, bro.
I appreciate it.
One love, man.
John.
So, my boy. So, all right, guys. In 2 weeks from yesterday, we are going to be at the Sam Miller Mansion.
2 weeks from yesterday?
Yeah, 2 weeks from yesterday. Better thing, week in 6 days. 2 weeks from yesterday. Whatever. We're up in Columbia, Pennsylvania, at the Sam Miller Mansion. From what I understand, if I heard it right, it was only a few tickets left.
Yeah, they were going pretty good. I'm not sure because every venue we're at has a different limit, and it's hard to keep track of. I can't keep track of what I did before I got here today, so it's hard to keep track of what venue allows how many tickets or whatever. But they're going quick, so I think there's a few left. I don't think it's totally sold out yet, but it's close. So Ghost Tours on locust.com. Click events, look for Paranormal Inc. We will be joined not only by our cameraman John,
this guy right here,
but we will also have medium Kelly Miller with us, as well as Mr. Jeff Leeper, who you've seen on probably about every ghost show there is.
Yep. So if you want to get a quick view of Jeff, watch the very last scene of
Ghost of Shepherdstown,
season 2, episode.
Yeah, when they did
he's the one who got rid of whatever it was.
Very good episode.
Yep. So he's worked with us on a couple of things, getting rid of some bad things that have attached.
Actually,
us out.
He's the one when we first time we did the pencil experiment when he was there in Gettysburg at a location up there, and Jeff was with us, and
it said demonist,
and it said it's
demonist
or exorcist.
Demonist.
Demonist.
And we said, because the pencil was pointing at you, I said, well, Jeff's a demonist. Can you point the pencil at him?
And it went right to him.
And I was like, oh my Lord. And I said, okay, can you point it back at Ernie? And it went yoink.
Yeah.
And we were all just like, and then a couple seconds later, it looked like somebody flicked it off. So John, any last remarks, man?
For those interested in the Sam Miller Mansion, highly recommend. Place does not disappoint at all. You're going to hear and see it all.
It's badass, man.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the event time is 7 to 11 or 12 or 8 to 12, something like that. But all the information's there. We'll let you know prior to the event.
If you want a ticket, and if you haven't gotten it yet, Ghost Tours, plural, TOURS, on Locust, LUCUST. So ghosttoursonlocust.com and grab it. It's 2 weeks from yesterday.
You know the coolest part, man, I always enjoy when we first get there. For those that have been there know exactly what I'm talking about. When you enter the building, the first room you go in is a big parlor. And it always reminds me of Interview with a Vampire. I don't know why. But then you just see this little door there.
Yep.
That sometimes opens on its own, but you'll see this little door, and when you open the door, man, them steps go straight up into the mansion. It's like, oh,
and when
here
they do open it, you'll be just standing there like we've been talking, and all of a sudden you hear, ee.
Yeah. But walking them steps is like when you're clicking on a roller coaster going uphill. Because you know
Oh, Lord of mine. Well, guys, thank you for joining us. Our hour is just about done. And we will be seeing you soon. We've got lots of things going on. In 6 weeks from yesterday, we have the
6 weeks. Oh, you mean the next event? Oh, we will be making our grand debut at the 1912 historic Hoover House.
The Hoover House
with
up in
Pam and Steve and
Pennsylvania.
Barry and Eric Julian and our whole Gettysburg hookup. And can't wait, man.
Can't wait for that one.
We'll be hosting an investigation there, but the cool thing that I like is we've never investigated there yet. So we have no idea what to expect. I don't know nothing of the history. I didn't ask Pam and Steve about it or Eric. I just want to go in blind and take everybody with us. So
you're in for a treat.
Huh?
You're in for a treat.
I tell you, man, and John can vouch, so many people we know have been there for different events, and they're just like, everybody's got the same reaction. Like, man, that place is crazy. Oh, wait till you get there, man. It's it's off the hook. So I'm definitely waiting to check that out and see what happens.
Sounds like a plan. All right, guys. God bless. Love you. And see you soon. Be safe.
See you guys.
You've been listening to Step into the Paranormal with Ernie Atwell and David Seiler. Thank you for listening, and listen in next week for another topic and more great guests, right here on WLFE DB Radio Network.